I sincerely have boxes and boxes and boxes worth of parts to get the E30 running and driving. And there's actually some more outside.
What a wild ride this car has been. It was a bare shell when I got it. Essentially no suspension, no engine, no tranny. Limited amounts of interiors, but I got all that swapped out. It's got brand new suspension, it's got brand new brakes, it's got new frame rails underneath it. The only thing left to do really is to get this thing running and driving. And we're going to do that in this very video. There can't be that much left to do to get this thing running, right?
Oh, you're serious?
I've got quite the laundry list to go before I can even think about starting this thing or driving it. I have to finish the drivetrain, which includes a new drive shaft and doing all the fluids. I've got to get a working cooling system. I have to install an oil cooler and run the lines for that. I have to customize and fit the intake manifold, install the O2 sensors, finish the wiring and install the gauge cluster, and check over absolutely everything to make sure I can even turn the key.
I'm going to start with some easy ones. Some relays I need for the engine harness to be able to start the thing. That was easy enough. All right, now let's do the braking system. Once the intake manifold is on here, there's no room for the brake reservoir to sit right there. So I got this nice piece that essentially just moves it up and out of the way. That's pretty tight, but that should work. I think with that, whole braking and clutch system is complete. I could actually put fluid in here and it would hopefully not leak out. I also still have a whole bunch of wiring that I have to finish up under the engine bay and in the car. I gotta order a few connectors to finish up the wiring, but it's pretty much there. I'm gonna move into some power steering and oil cooler upgrades.
To my knowledge, all S54s came with factory oil coolers, and this one is no different. The difference is I can't fit the factory oil cooler, so I got a whole kit from Mishimoto. I'm also upgrading the power steering reservoir with this beautiful metal one from Turner.
Yeah, this thing is old and crusty and just looks terrible. Let's look at the inside of this thing. Like, that is a freaking nice piece. I'll have it linked below, of course. Clearly, when I go to start it, I can't have these two giant holes with oil flowing out of them. Luckily for me, Mishimoto makes a bolt-on oil cooler. So the oil cooler, the mount, all that stuff, it's super simple and it's a really, really nice kit too. You don't even have to drill any holes. It uses two factory holes. Like, how cool is that? I thought I had Dash 8 stuff, but I only have Dash 6 and smaller. So another thing I have to order. But we carry on with the cooling system. Speaking of Mishimoto, I got like all of their silicone hoses for an E30 M3. I got a new coolant tank, a whole bunch of stuff to get all this together. And obviously there'll be some customization here because this is not an E30 M3 engine at all.
This is about as far as I could get with the cooling system. I need to order even more hoses and adapters. So let's turn our attention to the intake manifold, which does not fit. This isn't an ideal situation with this intake manifold, but it'll work for now. This isn't the permanent solution though. I'm thinking the engine bay is going to need some carbon.
Working in this mess and working on all these cars and working in the heat of the summer, I get thirsty all the time in the garage. No, don't drink that. Why'd you do that? You always need to drink water, obviously, when you get hot, when you're in the garage working covered in brake fluid and sweat and oil and grease and all that nasty stuff. These are really nice. It's going to look a lot better on there. Plus my old silicone boots are pretty beat up. But I found a much better way to have fresh filtered water in the garage without hurting the environment with plastic water bottles and all that nonsense. This is the Water Drop Core RO, and it's a much, much better way to drink water out here when I'm hot in the garage. I need to figure out how to cut these little things off. I hate these. They're always a pain, but maybe because they're old, they'll come off easier. There we go. Just like that. Perfect 16-ounce glass. That's super convenient, and it's great water. Now, the Core RO has a great filtration system, and it reduces up to 99% of impurities. It's a countertop reverse osmosis system, so you don't got to worry about any kind of install or anything permanent. You simply plug it in, fill it up, and you're good to go. Obviously, drinking water is a very important part of every day, and you should be drinking some type of filtered water. This RO system that just sits on the counter, or in my case, in the garage. And a bonus feature that it has that you're not going to get in a lot of systems is that it can actually heat water as well to a specific temperature that you choose. And not only that, you can choose exactly how much water comes out. And it's so easy to heat the water, it's just a button right there. You can select different temperatures to suit your needs. If you guys would like to get your own, I've got a link in the description box. Huge thanks to Water Drop for sending out this Core RO reverse osmosis system. I'm certainly going to be using it a whole bunch down here in the garage. And from here, you can't even tell that it's cut at all. Is this the ultimate, final, and permanent solution? No. A big reason I didn't feel that cutting this would really matter is because this is a pretty cheap part, and this is for an SMG, so I wouldn't be leaving this on here anyway. But for now, I'm going to leave it loose, because who knows what will happen the first time I go to start it. Big thanks to Turner for these silicone boots and the clamps, because I didn't have any of those, and they look way better, and it's going to seal up now. Now just 100 other things before I can fire this thing up.
Not required to start the car, but required to drive it is a drive shaft. And thanks to J30 Hershey for sending me this. This is an E30 M3 automatic drive shaft, and it's essentially bolt-in to an E30 with an S54 and 6-speed. The only thing I have to change is the center carrier bushing, or bearing if you will, and that's a good thing to replace anyway, just some preventative maintenance.
What a dumb ass. There's a C-clip in there. That certainly made it easier. There we go.
Next up on the electrical side of things, I was missing the battery terminal connector that goes in the engine bay, and I thought the best way to mount the one that I got used was to use rib nuts in the stock holes. It makes for a cleaner solution. This is essentially where all of the power wires come together and feed the engine harness, the DME, etc. Now there's 100 different ways to run AN lines, and there's 100 different brands of AN lines. I usually stick with PTFE, and that's exactly what I did here. They can handle a higher pressure, they can handle more fluids, and I actually find they're a little easier to put together. I only had to run 2 of these lines, so what I used was clear plastic tubing to get the length correct, and then I cut the AN lines to that exact size, and then I could mount them to the oil cooler and tighten everything up.
A really neat part of this kit is that it even comes with these spacers to space them out and look nice, clean, and tidy.
And that's a wrap on the oil system, the oil cooler, and all the lines, everything like that. Now I can move back over to the braking and clutch system because that needs to be bled in order to run and drive, obviously, and to be able to shift gears.
I just let the clutch gravity drain and it's already good. Got a good clutch pedal already. The brakes, well, not so much.
Definitely some things I forgot to tighten up on the braking system, which I found out really quickly. I also lowered the rear springs of this car as much as possible because this thing was stacked up really high on the back end, but there was some bad news.
So much for bleeding the brakes. This guy has got a decent sized pinhole in it. So I gotta address that.
All right, I've got to go get all the fluids for the E30 because I have none of them. I need diff, tranny, engine, power steering, everything.
Now this calls for 5.5 quarts, I think, but this thing was completely empty, and it's got an oil cooler that I'm suspecting is bigger than factory. Okay, we'll go with 6 quarts, for now at least.
While I was over here, I decided to clean up the engine ground cable as well, because that did have some paint on it from when I redid the bay.
I've got some wire I need to finish up on the inside too. I think I need to run a ground for the new harness from Condor. I think I need to reconnect like all the grounds I took off when I removed the dash, because I'm not putting the dash back in here for the first start. Obviously I'm going to need a gas pedal as well. And for that, I need this bracket, and I have to mount this bracket in there somehow. Oh, that's actually really solid, especially if this is just kind of temporary. Nice, pretty happy with that. Okay, got that plugged in. Got the grounds regrounded in there. Oh, haha, plus
This is probably the coolest piece for the E30 thus far. And this came from another country. E30 clusters help me design and build essentially a brand new E30 cluster. Everything in it is rebuilt, everything will look and function like it's supposed to be there, but it has a way higher tack, and it just looks a lot better than a regular old 325 cluster.
Of course, I couldn't go with just a stock cluster, plus this didn't come with a stock cluster, and they're really expensive. So just a custom E30 cluster that has a 9,000 RPM tack with a little custom touches fits the bill perfectly. And one more thing.
I really shouldn't be showing you guys these parts until I start on the interior rebuild, but I figured I'm doing the cluster, I might as well show you this gorgeous custom steering wheel from Bavarian Steering Wheels. It has the BMW M tri-stitching, and of course brand new leather everywhere.
Since I'm gonna have to technically turn the wheel back and forth to bleed the power steering, why not put the brand new custom steering wheel in from Bavarian Steering Wheels? And by install, this is gonna be super temporary.
With the checklist getting smaller, it's down to just a few items left before I can crank this thing over. One of those is I actually want to disconnect the fuel system so A, I can tell if the fuel pump is working, and B, I need to crank this engine over to build oil pressure, make sure it's not making any funny noises, etc. That ain't going anywhere. One last look over this engine before the first start attempt. If you guys don't remember, this engine was not in good condition when I got it. And I am no expert engine builder. I'm not even a novice engine builder. I've got essentially no experience at all. So to have this thing completely torn down to find out that it had a broken timing chain guide, it had worn out rod bearings when the previous owner said they had been replaced, I essentially tore down this entire engine and rebuilt it. So I've got a lot on the line here with this first start because there's about 1,000 things that could go wrong.
Oh, it's time. The scariest part of any build. The first crank, first start, all of it. And actually, even before that, just hooking up the battery is scary because as long as I've owned this car, there's never been a battery on it, so really anything could happen. Just make sure the key is, okay, key is off and out. Well, here we go. Oh, that was anticlimactic. Okay. Oh my God, things are happening. And the fuel pump worked too, I just heard it. All right, well that's, oh, that's a start, cool. That totally reminds me, I didn't even put fuel in it yet. I guess that's not a bad thing. Let's see if it turns over. First crank in the E30 M3 S54 swap. I put oil in it, yeah. Oh, it did it. I want to make sure oil is flowing through there, but I'm only one person, so I'll see if I can get the camera to stay. Okay.
This is a critical moment because I need to make sure that the oil pump is getting oil all the way to the head. And while watching it, you can see here oil is starting to flow up and out, which is absolutely perfect. And if you compare the two side by side, you can see the left is before oil started coming out, and the right is when it was free flowing. All good news.
Well, that's a great start. All right, there's definitely oil flowing all the way to the head. So that means oil has come from the bottom of the engine all the way to the top. So it should be good to try to start it. One thing I absolutely forgot to was upload the custom RK Tunes tune, which is probably required for this thing to run.
If you want some custom tuning on a BMW that you own, look no further than RK Tunes. Jordan totally took care of me on this project, and I'm really excited to see the performance gains that this thing's going to have. It's going to have more than 333 horsepower, that's for sure.
This is only going to take 20 minutes. I want to see if the fuel pump works. So if fuel comes out there, well, then it works. Hey, look at that. Nice. I can button that up as well. The engine sounds healthy, turning over. We've got oil flow to the top of the head. We've got fuel, so it's time to put the plugs in. Put the coil packs in, make this puppy sing, hopefully. In case you guys forgot, I got the beautiful upgraded coil packs from Turner. That's a nice little upgrade as well. Throw those in there. Now, what does it sound like with some compression in it? Hopefully, still good.
Food for thought. At this very moment, I thought there was about a 5% chance it was going to start anytime soon.
Oh my God, it just started up! I was not... That was way too easy! Holy sh**. Woo!
Now, after the first start, it would start again, but it struggled to idle, and I thought there was probably something wrong, and lo and behold, there was.
It's trying. Fuck yeah. Well, we did spring our first leak of gas. I don't know where that's coming from. Oh yeah, it's awfully wet up here. Why is that? I don't know. Seems like it's just seeping out down here. What the heck is that about? That doesn't make any sense. Ah, man, that sucks. I can't believe it's running. Oh, that's awesome. I mean, there's a million things I have to do before I can drive this, but it's very, very close. Definitely have some issues to fix before I can get this on the road, but this was a gigantic leap. Huge thanks to everyone involved. Condor Speed Shop, Turner Motorsports, ECS Tuning, Jordan at RK Tunes. I couldn't have done this without all those guys. Bavarian steering wheels. So so many people to thank. I'm sorry for everyone that I missed, but it's running. I have an S54 swapped E30 M3 that runs. So, as long as you guys like and comment on this video, we're going to drive it in the next one.